Hi, I'm Dr. Patti Bartsch. The people over at Pulse Centers have asked me to put together a short video to tell you a little bit about my Pulse PEMF success story, and then also to share some business tips and strategies with you to help you to have success as well. So back in January of 2018, I could see some writing on the wall that it was going to be time for me to bring in something new into my practice. And rather than reinvent the wheel, I went into a practitioner group that I belong to on Facebook. And I was like, hey, what are you guys doing out there that is getting really good results, is somewhat of a passive service, and has a good return on investment? A few people mentioned PEMF, and I had heard of PEMF one time before. But what really got my attention was that two practitioners reached out to me privately and independently. They were from different states, and they both said almost exactly the same things. They said, you've got to check out PEMF, you've got to check out Pulse Centers, and you've got to check out the XL Pro. So I was like, okay, I'm listening. Same message from all these people. So I went to the Pulse Centers website, and at the time, in order to get the pricing of the devices, you had to put in your name and email address, which I did, and I received the email with the equipment pricing. I looked at the devices and I was really intrigued, and I spent about 3 hours on YouTube watching success story videos from PEMF professionals and their clients. And between the information from the two practitioners who reached out to me privately to tell me what types of amazing results they were getting in their practice, and with over 3 hours of YouTube videos of success story after success story after success story, I was convinced that this stuff actually worked, and I ordered my first Pulse XL Pro system. So that system arrived in, I think, early March of 2018, and my husband and I had decided we weren't going to offer any sessions until we had gone through all of the training. So we actually sat on our device for 3 weeks. We let our staff play with it. We played with it. But we really realized that we wanted to make sure that when anybody tried this technology, that they would have the best opportunity to get results. And we knew in order for that to happen, we needed to know what we were doing. So I often say the first step is to first step is to purchase the equipment. The second step is to master the equipment. And then the third step is to leverage the equipment. So my husband and I flew down to Atlanta, Georgia. At the time, the level 3 certification course was available only in person in Atlanta. And so now you guys are lucky, you can do it all online. But my husband and I flew down to Atlanta for the 2-day training. The first day was all practical application. And it talked about like how to use the settings and the accessories, and we learned a ton. The second day was the business training, and we were in a room with about 15 other practices, and the owner of the company was talking about how you want to give everyone 2 free sessions. And I always joke, like, I reeled a little bit because Patty don't do free, which I do on occasion, but very strategically, and I'll tell you more about that in a little bit. But I was open to it. I'm like, well, if that 2 free session thing works, then I'm open to doing something like that. So I'm listening. I'm open-minded here. So we were the newest ones. Like, our machines were just out of the box. We hadn't started doing sessions with clients yet, but there were practices represented in the room that had their machines for months or even years. And most of them were saying about the same thing. Oh yeah, we do the 2 free sessions, but we don't get people to sign up for packages. So I was kind of listening. I was like, I'm gonna raise my hand. So I was like, well, we haven't started yet. We're actually starting on Monday when we get back from this training, but I have my device booked solid for the next 3 weeks with paid appointments. And it was like, what? Like, how did you do that? And I said, well, I'm kind of giving away 2 free appointments, but not to anyone who isn't willing to pay for one. So what I developed was a 3 1-hour Pulse Pro PEMF session package for $99, because I'm not a big fan of trick-or-treaters, okay? The people who come around and they just want something for nothing. And plus I realize when people have some level of investment in anything, they're more invested in the outcome. So there's a time and a place for free, but I don't think it's ever for everybody. So we were going one right after the other. Like I said, we had that first machine booked solid for 3 weeks, and we were having people get great success like Dorothy was seeing, and those people were rolling into 10, 20, and 30 packs. But we had a little bit of a problem because our device was booked solid for 3 weeks. When someone finished the introductory offer and they went into a 10 pack, we actually couldn't get them in for 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, well, that's not cool. So I called up my rep and I was like, okay, I think we need another machine. So a month after we started, we actually purchased our second Pulse XL Pro system. I didn't even have room for it. I had to put 2 systems in one room. But very quickly, we had that second device also booked solid for the next 3 weeks. So I had to call my rep again, and I was like, look, I don't know if this is a flash in the pan. I don't feel comfortable investing in another like $40,000 setup until I'm really sure that this is going to have some longevity, but I need a solution. What else do you got? And so we went through the line of devices, and I settled on it's in the Equine line. It's called the EQXX model. And what that is it's 2 of the Pulse X devices built together side by side in the same box, because I was like, oh, I can buy one machine and run 2 people separately off of that machine. So I ordered the Pulse EQXX, and then I ordered 2 chairs to put side by side in that chair area, so that I could run 2 people at the same time at a lower price point, but still be at approximately the same revenue per hour on that machine. So that's how we worked all through the rest of 2018. So first device was implemented in April, second device was implemented in May, third device was implemented in June, and by year end of 2018, we had earned just over 6 figures, just over $100,000 in Pulse PEMF revenue in really our first 9 months, with adding one new machine a month for 3 months. So I was like, okay, this is going great. So we did that for a while, and we were continuing to have great success, really amazing results with people, and we're loving the Pulse PEMF. In July of that year, well, let me back up. By the time I bought the third device, something special and unique happened. I received a care package from Pulse Centers and a card signed by all of these people that worked in the office, which I still have the card on my bulletin board today. And it was like, you go, girl, you're rocking it. Keep doing what you're doing. You're amazing. And I was like, what? Wait a minute. Doesn't everybody have the same machine? Why am I having success way above and beyond what most other Pulse professionals are having when we all have the same machine? There's got to be something that I'm doing that other people aren't doing that I could teach to people and have them to have more success. So I had already been doing business coaching for wellness professionals. I started wellnesspracticegps.com back in 2017. So by the time I was having great success with Pulse PEMF and earning great revenue every month, I already had some systems in place to start training Pulse professionals in some of the business skills and strategies that I've developed that have allowed me to have such tremendous success with PEMF. So in July of that year, I started coaching one-on-one with Pulse professionals who were looking to have better business success by leveraging the Pulse equipment effectively. And I've been doing that ever since, privately and in groups, and doing multiple webinars for Pulse centers and Pulse Equine, and even doing some live events and training for them. So what I'm going to share with you today now are 3 key areas for success with Pulse PEMF. And I guess I should tell you one more thing before I get into those 3 key areas. So now we've just hit 3 full years after purchasing our first device, and we are at almost $450,000 of revenue with just the Pulse division of our practice. So we did add after COVID. When COVID hit, we did add a rental unit, and at the time I also temporarily rented out my EQXX unit. So I was renting the portable X unit and an EQXX unit for a little bit as well, and now I've returned the EQXX to my office and I'm using it here, and I still have an X that I rent. But one little caveat with all of the COVID stuff is that we no longer pulse 2 people side by side in the same room. So I have reduced my capacity to be able to earn double revenue on that one machine for the time being. But regardless, we continue to have tremendous success. I also have a Pulse XL Pro system at home that myself and my husband use, and I sent my parents a Pulse X unit and chair, etc., for them to use at home. So technically I own, 6-7 machines. All right. So what are some of the things that you can do to have tremendous success with Pulse technology in your practice? So the first thing I want to talk about, which I sort of alluded to earlier, is free is a 4-letter word. Don't start your business plan with, I'm going to give everybody free stuff. Because as I mentioned earlier, free means worthless. And it's possible, but it's not likely that you're going to get people to convert from free to paid, especially if the jump is from 0 to hundreds of dollars. But people love a good deal. They actually love a good deal more than they love free. So Pulse Centers has thrown out their give everybody 2 free sessions. They did that shortly after they met me, and they also now recommend the 3 for $99. Now, remembering I'm in West Central Wisconsin in a town of 17,000 people with a median household income right around $50,000. So my sweet spot for my intro pack has been that $99 mark. Now, if you're in San Diego or Houston or New York, you may have your intro pack be 3 for $199 or $299, whatever the case may be. So you want to make sure whatever it is that it's a super sweet deal. It's inspirational enough that people are like, I can't afford not to try it. So make sure that you have what I call an irresistible introductory offer, and only use free as a very, very strategic way to maybe get some key influencers to help refer people to your practice. Another thing I wanted to talk about was some things that really should be on your website. So a big mistake, because I work with lots of wellness professionals, and many of them are Pulse professionals. And when I go to their website, and if I can find the PEMF on their website, it doesn't really tell me where I'm supposed to start. And it doesn't tell me the prices. So I know a lot of professionals, business owners are really hesitant to put their prices on the internet, but all of my pricing, if you go to my website and you go to my PEMF page, all of my pricing is on the website, and it's there for a few reasons. One is I don't want my front desk to be spending all kinds of time answering phone calls about how much is this, how much is that. If that's up there on the internet, my front desk can be doing other things. The second thing is people will be like, oh yeah, well, it's $99 to start, but how much is it after that? They think you're trying to kind of sneak it. So if I put it right out there, this is how much it is after that. These are all the packages that we offer, and this is how much it is for just one session. And the other thing is that, there's marketing research that shows that people will avoid asking about a price because they don't want to make themselves vulnerable to the situation where they have to say, I can't afford that, or that's not worth it for me. So by having products and services without the pricing, you're actually going to miss out on a certain population of people who are very uncomfortable asking about prices. So for those 3 reasons, I think that you should have all of your pricing on your website and have it be very, very clear where someone is supposed to start, because people will go to your website and they'll see all of the choices and they'll go, what am I supposed to do first? So you want to have a start here section on your website. The third thing I want to tell you is about, and this is the thing I get the most pushback on, and I get it, and don't freak out now when I tell this to you, but I'm just going to tell you what it is, why it's important, and how you can still do it even if you just freaked out when I said it. Okay, so the thing is online scheduling. You okay? Okay. So this is why you need to have it. Anytime you're doing digital marketing, which let's face it, it's almost all we do these days. There's fewer and fewer live events happening. So we have to depend on email marketing, internet marketing, and social media marketing to drive people to our website and then to have the website funnel them into an appointment. So if you don't have online scheduling, and somebody gets your email or hits your Facebook post when your office is closed, they cannot take action right away in the moment that they're feeling inspired to do so. They have to wait until your office is open. You have no idea how much PEMF can help until you try it. And I click, what is PEMF? And I go to your website and I read about it and I watch some videos of some success stories that you've had with people in your office. And I go, I want to try this. And oh, it's Friday night and it's 10 o'clock and they're not open again until Monday morning. I'll call Monday. What are the odds that they're going to actually call on Monday? Not great. Not great at all. But if they're on your website and they can book now, they might actually have an appointment with you on Monday. But I have another caveat to that. Whenever anybody books an appointment online for my office, it's book now, pay now. Because that person who is feeling really crappy at 10 o'clock at night on Friday, they may not show up for it because they're not feeling so inspired in that moment. But if they paid for it, they'll show up for it, and they're not going to have blocked a section on your schedule. It's not mandatory for people to prepay for all appointments in my office. If they can call and book an appointment without prepaying, and they can book in person without prepaying. But anyone who books online has to prepay. We get very little pushback on that. Now, the thing I wanted to say so that you don't freak out about online scheduling is, especially the chiropractors, I understand what a nightmare it is for chiropractors to have online scheduling for your chiropractic services. What I'm saying is you do not need to offer all of your services in an online booking format. Even if you only offer PEMF to book online, you will have people booking appointments. If you have other services that you wouldn't really mind if people booked online, like if you offer cold laser or traction or any kind of other, cryotherapy or anything like that, that might be advantageous to have those things booked online. But don't feel like just because you have online scheduling for one service that you actually have to have online scheduling for all of your services. You just don't have to do it that way. But you really do need people to be able to go to your website and know immediately where they're supposed to start, and let them start. Book now, pay now, and then have your little email show up that says, ta-da, you have an appointment scheduled. So hopefully those tips are helpful for you. I've got a little bit more to share. Obviously in 2020, we all had the crazy experience of the COVID pandemic shutdowns, and my office was shut down. We had 3 XL Pro systems sitting here idle. I started renting out my XX. I bought an X to rent as well. And then when we reopened after the shutdown, we did a staggered reopening, just a few days, a couple days a week, and then 3 days a week, as we were getting people to feel comfortable enough to come back and start doing services with us again until we got to full capacity. When we got to full capacity, I relaunched PEMF in my practice. So I did my original launch way back in 2018 when I'd never even touched a machine and, built up a lot of people trying PEMF, something that was brand new to the area, no one had ever heard of, and we had tremendous success. So obviously COVID was a big gut punch for a lot of us. And when we got back up to speed and were full-time again, I relaunched PEMF in my practice, and using the marketing skills and strategies that I've developed and optimized, we actually did $25,000 worth of PEMF revenue in August of 2020 with our relaunch package. And so hopefully you found some of the information that I've shared with you today to be really helpful. It's a big passion of mine to help other Pulse professionals to have tremendous success. I work with people in the equine line. I have an online program for them, and then I have an online training program for Pulse professionals as well. If you would like to learn more about my Pulse coaching programs, you can go to pulsesuccess.com for a free webinar, or you can go to wellnesspracticegps.com and learn more about me and all of the different types of programs and services that I offer. So it has been my pleasure to connect with you here today. I so appreciate the people at Pulse Centers consistently giving me an opportunity to share some of my success and some of my strategies with Pulse professionals like you. Thank you so much.